Hello, and thank you for giving us another opportunity to spend some time with you on Stairway to Health, brought to you by Health Experts Canada. We've got some great ideas, new information, and hopefully a few laughs for you today. Who knows, if you're not careful, you may learn something.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Stairway to Health podcast. I'm your host today, Frank Peary, and I'm here today with my very special guest. I'm excited to have her here with us. We've been wanting to speak to her for quite some time now, but my guest today is Tracy Colonello, founder of Baked Goods. Now, we first met Tracy as a customer inside of our retail location many years ago. And since then, Tracy's become an incredible friend, an incredible colleague, somebody that we get to bounce a lot of fantastic ideas off of. We learn an incredible amount from each other just in casual conversation. So I'm excited to have you here today, Tracy. Tell us a little bit more about you, Tracy, the person, Tracy, the busy healthpreneur that you are.
Hi, Frank. Thanks for having me on your podcast. And hello to Marilyn. Yeah, I've known you guys for like a long time, BC, before children. I'm a mother of 2 adult sons now, and an entrepreneur. And as you said, our relationship has changed and evolved so much throughout the years. The one thing that's the constant for me has been the support that you and Marilyn have shown to me, and compassion, and also a lot of support.
Yeah.
So much support. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's reciprocal. You've been supporting us over the years, 20 years plus in our retail location. I mean, you've been supporting us ever since we started. So, I mean, it's only natural, right? We want to give back to the community at large, and we want to give back to somebody like yourself who's been so interested in health and well-being. So, yeah, I mean, and we've learned a lot from you.
Yeah, I've learned a lot from you guys as well. And just the importance of good health. For something as simple as, increasing the protein in my diet, because as my body's changing, I have to change with it, and the needs that are coming and going with my age. So, with the supplements and increasing protein, I've learned to speed up my metabolism, and all the preventative measures that you guys have guided me through over the years. The coaching and guidance has been incredible for me. I don't take any pharmaceutical drugs because I'm 51 and healthy.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. Well, no, I mean, it's interesting. Now let's talk. Your company is called Baked Goods,
mm-hmm.
and you are, honestly, I'm not going to say you're really all that new to the entrepreneurial space. You've been in it now for a few years. But tell us a little bit about how you got started there.
Well, like you and Marilyn, I knew I wanted to help people. So once my kids had grown up to the point where they didn't require me, all day long, I started seeking out a business in the vein of helping people. Coincidentally, my father-in-law had some health issues, and when he was going through his treatments, the process was painful for him and stressful. So in order to help him with the side effects of the radiation treatments he was going through, I infused some butter with cannabis for him to consume to consume for his pain and to help him sleep. The infused ingredients helped him quite a bit with reducing the pain and the insomnia brought on by his radiation treatments. So by watching the results, it really encouraged me to continue down these avenues and explore this a little bit more. From there, I learned about CBD, which is also fantastic for promoting pain and anxiety relief. It can help you sleep, but without the high side effect. So, especially for seniors, that was really, that was a big thing for me. That was a big aha moment because you could have all the benefits of the cannabis plant without the high. So I started manufacturing CBD infused oils and edibles. My partner makes topicals and bath bombs, so we can treat while you ingest, or if you're not comfortable ingesting, then you can treat pain topically. I started probably about 6 years ago in a job in Streetsville at a hemp-related store. So I was working there and selling my product to customers who were seeking alternative ingredients for their pain or anxiety relief. Very quickly, I found out how many people suffered from anxiety or pain. And that led to a lack of sleep for a lot of people. I was really surprised just working with people, how many people don't sleep because of pain or anxiety or just shift work, whatever the reason. So many people don't sleep.
Stress.
Yeah.
Right? Stress is a big one. I mean, let's be honest here. The last few years, with changes in the medical system and changes in, people's lifestyle habits and the food supply chain changing, and there's been so many things coming at everybody every day that's enough to stress anybody out, even the most resilient individual. So
Yes.
yeah, I mean that's a big one, right? And it's a big cause of so many degenerative diseases. It's the jumping off point, if you will. People start with stress and it just seems to steamroll downhill. But I'm really proud to hear that being a client of ours and working with us, that we in some way helped to give you some level of inspiration to want to help people. I mean, once you yourself started feeling good, I'm assuming you wanted to see that for other people. And, what happened with your father-in-law, I mean, I think a lot of our listeners can relate to this, right? They must all have stories of people that they know going through treatments or dealing with specific medical issues or stressors that they would love, somebody in your position to be able to guide them or help them. But now let's just clarify a few things here. We're talking about cannabis. We're talking about marijuana. We're talking about the hemp plant itself, or the pot plant.
Correct.
I mean, you obviously had to have some level of interest in this. I mean, for me, it was a whole different type of interest in pot that, made me aware of its effects, but that was a lifetime ago. So you obviously had to have some knowledge, some working knowledge of what this was, and that there was more to it than it just being a party drug.
For sure. For sure. Like you, when I was young, I used it recreationally. But I also noticed over time that it was less about the high for me and more about the, side effects, which is it calmed me. It helped me with my anxiety. And I've always been a really good sleeper. And I hate to brag about that because I feel like so many people want to smack me for that. But I really do attribute that to the cannabis use. I've always been a good sleeper. So, as you say, when you find something that you like and it works, you start to research a little bit more. So, in 2013, when I started my business, that's when the research and delving in really started. So, I learned that our bodies have CB1 and CB2 receptors and throughout our body and brains. So our body knows how to receive CBD and THC. CBD can be sourced from the hemp plant and it can be sourced from the cannabis plant. So depending on what you're looking for from the hemp plant, you can source CBD, which will have zero content of THC from it. But from the cannabis plant, you can also derive the CBD by isolating it from the rest of the plant.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it is fascinating. There's a lot of listeners out there that may not know this, but I mean, the hemp plant in general, um, was a phenomenal resource throughout history. I mean, they did everything from making clothes and paper and numerous things that people use throughout their lives. You can create medicinal oils like for internal consumption or for food, food preparation. The hemp plant has a lot of incredible benefits, not to mention the fact that it's got a very high load of positive gamma linoleic acid or omega-6, which is very beneficial to our bodies, right? Very beneficial for the skin. There's other things. The cannabis plant, though, nowadays everybody's talking about cannabis, and there's so many different medicinal uses for it. It's gone so far as that most governments have now legalized it. Most cities now have multiple areas, places, stores, resources where they can access it legally. And they have qualified people on staff that can sometimes help, in product selection. But you really focused in on the CBD aspect, and you found that was the most effective for the majority of people who were maybe a little apprehensive about this, but wanted to experiment.
Absolutely. CBD, I like to think of it as a starting place for a lot of people. For example, seniors, they're typically not they're not interested in getting high. They like the pain relief and they like the calming that it can provide for them. From there, we have different cannabinoids. So from there, you can combine CBD with other components like CBG or CBN, which are now coming on the scene. Again, these components are not psychoactive, but when you combine them with CBD, you are creating an entourage effect for either pain, which would be the combo with CBG, and for sleep and calm for the CBN combo. And at that point, you have further options. If your condition is more severe, that's when you would go into either a CBD THC combination or straight into THC. Usually with people who have severe conditions tend to, let's say, escalate and go from a CBD product to a combo of CBD THC or straight THC. That's when you get into cancers and that kind of thing. So there's so much variety and so many options for people. Education right now really is key for this industry. I feel like if people understand their options, then they can better choose what's best suited for them. So I'm not making the decision for people. I'm educating them so they can choose which path they'd like to take.
But I really like that. I commend you for that, because I think in this new era of medicinal medicine, and let's be honest, when we talk about this is a form of herbal medicine. It's always been a form of herbal medicine. It's been present in a lot of the native cultures and society long before government and politics and the intricacies of modern Western medicine. These types of plants were readily used, and there are thousands of medicinal herbal plants out there available for us. Mother Nature has basically provided us with everything we need in nature to be able to help heal our bodies. So you mentioned something interesting, the endocannabinoid system that is in the human body. Now, every body is born with an endocannabinoid system present, right, within them.
Correct.
And that has everything to do with how they receive or how many receptors they have for the different strains or types of CBD, CBG, CBN, THC even. Is that true?
Yes. Yes. We try to match up the strength of our oil or our product with the severity of the conditions, or if there are multiple conditions. So if someone comes to me and says, they're having trouble sleeping, but not all the time, just here and there, I would recommend something usually lower in strength for a CBD oil, as opposed to someone who is coming in and telling me that they have pain and they have anxiety, and in turn they're having trouble sleeping. So I would increase the dosing or the strength with that kind of condition. And then with pain, every body is different. And so I think the education is important for that regard, because you know your body the best. So if you come in and tell me on a scale of 1 to 10 that your anxiety is near a 10 or your pain is near a 10, that's where I'm going to suggest a stronger strength. And also size matters as well. Sorry.
Well, I've heard that before.
So if you're a bigger dude, for example, I also would suggest increasing a strength at that point, because the last thing I want is for you to come back to me and say, this isn't working. Because really what I've done is I've missed the mark on the strength of it. So I like to work with people, and I want them to understand that it's not a right and wrong. Sometimes you just got to figure out what's best suited for your body.
Sure. No, that makes all the sense in the world. I mean, that's why we offer consultative services for clients that need more help, right? More assistance, greater levels of confusion, whatever it is. They've come in, they've tried so many different things, nothing's worked for them. I mean, it's important for us as healthcare providers to understand exactly what it is these individuals have tried, what they've gone through, and we can then better customize the experience for the client. Very important. Now, this is where things get really cool for me with what you do. So you started off by telling us you were infusing butter for your father-in-law to use, and that made it very easy for him. It was an easy sort of introduction. But you have gummies, you have lollipops, you have honey, you have all kinds of, you've got chocolate treats, you've got candies, hard candies. There's so many things, caramels, so many different things that you've created that have all been infused. To be able to do that must have taken an incredible learning curve of how to produce this type of product.
It was there was a lot of learning curves, and there was some curveballs, and the industry keeps changing. The industry changes probably more than any other industry currently. Not just the law, but the information and the research and the studies. So I always welcome more information, and I understand that this industry is evolving. So you just got to keep evolving with it.
Right. Fair enough. I mean, it sounds like an incredible amount of work. I mean, being a busy mother, daughter, business owner. I mean, staying healthy is incredibly important as an individual in general. What do you do yourself? What do you do to keep yourself healthy and full of the necessary energy to keep going, to keep creating, to keep doing what you do? Where does that energy come from?
I love what I do. So the different products are because I love cooking and baking. I love to be in my kitchen. So I'm incorporating my medicine with what I love to do. So I do make different products because different people like different things, and health requirements also. Sometimes you don't want to do a candy all the time. So you incorporate an oil, which is healthier and it's going to last you longer. For me, I've learned my balance between my vitamins that I need to take, CBD incorporated with that, and just eating healthy and getting proper sleep is really, it sounds simple, but it's a tall order when you're busy juggling responsibilities and everyday stress. And I'm in perimenopause, which is taking, a life of its own. So CBD has helped me deal with the stress of life, the changes, and helps me keep a cool head when life is stressful. And, prevents me from road rage as well. So it's awesome.
It sounds like a miracle cure, this CBD, honestly, but it's just a plant, right?
It is just a plant. Yeah. And it works so well in the body, and it's non-invasive. So these are things that it's a good place to start. I'm not wanting to replace pharmaceuticals. I think there's a time and a place for that as well. However, starting in a gentler manner, I think is a great place to start. Having said that, CBD and THC does conflict with some pharmaceutical drugs. So it's important to have that discussion with clients to see what they're taking currently, because CBD and THC tend to conflict with pharmaceuticals who have grapefruit warnings already. So as a guideline, if you're taking pharmaceuticals that conflict with the grapefruit, it probably will conflict with CBD as well. So if I'm in doubt, I will suggest for people to talk to their pharmacist or their doctor before going down this path. And if we get the go ahead, then I'm happy to work with my clients and find the right solution for them.
Yeah. I mean, I even know like certain individuals that are dealing with liver conditions, if they have a liver disorder, if they have specific, liver diagnoses, then they have to stay away from THC, but CBD seems to still have benefit for those people.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's important to understand that, just like any medicine, I mean, even though it's just a plant, it's a medicinal plant. Just like any herb is, stems from a medicinal plant. So there are things that we have to be conscious of for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming then, I know that you take a lot of nutritional supplements. I know that you focus on your sleep and your, lowering stress levels where possible. You do focus a lot on your personal health, your self-care. And I just know that from working with you. But I'm assuming that people out there listening to this can understand that CBD is an easy addition to all of those things. Like, there's not a lot of natural vitamins, minerals, even there's not a lot of herbals that conflict with CBD.
Correct. Yeah. What I've done is I've almost incorporated it into my vitamins and mineral routine. So when I take my vitamins in the morning, if it's rainy, rain is pain for me. So the arthritis kicks in. I'm taking my CBD that day along with my multis. It's part of my healthcare program now. I like CBD for my daytime medicine. There's no fogginess. There's nothing that hits me in my head. I just feel the stress drain out of me. I can deal with my day. And as a bonus, if I want to participate in THC at the end of the night, using it on a regular basis won't take away from the high. So my CBD actually helps keep my THC recreational for me.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, it is. And there's a lot of our listeners out there are probably thinking to themselves, because they either have a neighbor, they know somebody, they have somebody, that they've been around who has literally been smoking pot, and they don't necessarily like the smell, or they don't like the way, the smoke or whatever. And I have to tell people that when I personally tried some of your CBD based oil, there is no harsh taste. There is no harsh smell. I mean, most of your oils are incredibly easy to take, very mild, nothing offensive whatsoever. Is that something that is naturally, occurring, or is that part of how you create your products?
It is part of how I create my product. The CBD that I use is from an isolate. So I'm not working from the leaf or the plant itself. It's been isolated into a product that has no flavor added to it. So what I'm adding is, what you're tasting is coconut oil, which is what I infuse my CBD into. And then as an option, I also have an almond oil. And both these oils have their own healthy qualities to them, which also lend to better health.
Yeah, better absorption.
better absorption, and it's a healthier way to consume, instead of smoking or instead of candies. This one, the oil is the healthiest way to consume your medicine.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, for sure. Because I mean, any candy, even if there is a medicinal property to the candy, it's still candy, right?
Yeah,
There's
for
a reason why
sure.
the candy tastes good.
That's right. And again, we I'd like to say, I don't want to cause any harm. So if you're consuming a lot of sugar, we don't want to cause diabetes while we're giving you your medicine. So for long-term conditions or chronic conditions, the oil is usually where I try to guide people to. If you're looking for something that's, for headaches every once in a while, by all means, the candies and the caramels and the goodies are a great option. And also, you carry around a tin of candies. Nobody suspects that you're consuming anything untoward.
Yeah, right. I mean, nobody thinks of it as medicine. You're just popping a candy.
You're just eating a candy. That's right. So,
Yeah.
medicine doesn't all have to taste terrible.
No, God, and yours doesn't. For sure, it doesn't. But I mean, I find all of this incredibly fascinating. I really do, and I think it's such a on a much larger scale. We're seeing we're seeing an aging population. We're seeing an older population really dive into this whole world of medicinal marijuana. And when I say that, your focus is primarily on the CBD, CBN, CBG. You do a lot of that stuff at Baked Goods, which is great because there is no psychoactive property to it. It's easy for people to consume. It's safe for most individuals. But again, you work with people one-on-one to make sure that these medicines are safe for them. I'm in awe of where we are today from, let's say, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. I mean, we've come a long way. And at Health Experts Canada, one of the things we do is we encourage our clients to create their very own personal affirmation or personal mantra, something that holds special meaning to them, helps keep them grounded, which helps them to reach levels of success in everything they do. And I've seen the level of success that you've reached in such a condensed period of time. I mean, like I said, I know you've been doing this for years, but on the grand scheme of things, it's a short period of time and you've achieved a lot of success with your clients. So what is an original Tracy quote or affirmation, something that has meaning to you? And how do you apply it to your life, being a business owner, busy mother? How do you do it?
Just roll with it. Just roll with it.
Just roll with it.
Just roll it, roll with it. Because my industry is changing all the time. If you don't have the ability to switch gears, you won't last. Women, I think, have an advantage on this. Our bodies naturally change all the time. And so I think it's not as upsetting for women to have us constantly changing. It's still tiring, but when you are changing, you're improving, and when you're improving, you're growing. And so, yeah, I think roll with it would be that's my mantra, is just go with it, just roll with it.
I like that. I mean, obviously keeping, you're focused on your business, you're focused on growing your business, you're focused on helping people and continually growing your own personal education in this specific field. But you're right, life throws curveballs, man. I mean, we've all faced them. So if you're not in a position where you're able to easily adapt or switch gears, you get stuck.
Yeah.
Right. So I like that. I like the idea of just roll with it. Yeah. How simple and yet how so poignant in terms of how we operate as entrepreneurs, healthpreneurs.
Yes.
The Stairway to Health podcast, this podcast, it's all about giving back and paying it forward. We believe that as busy professional individuals, we all share similar challenges when it comes to our personal states of health. Our belief is that health equals wealth. wealth as it pertains to the quality of life that we have or that we want. What situation sparked your desire to improve the quality of life, your quality of life, by starting your company, Baked Goods? Was there a moment? Like, what
I
made you
think
say, I have to do this?
I have to do this was when I saw how effective it was to consume CBD and THC in a way that I wasn't used to using it before. I was always just smoking it, and I think that that was really the turning point for me. I knew I wanted to help people, and this was something I knew about. From there, that it just launched into learning more about the plant itself, and again, like I say, from there, just going into CBD and CBG and CBN, and how it works in our body. But it also works. It works in all mammals. So even our pets can consume CBD. It's definitely beneficial for their pain and anxieties as well.
Nice. Even our fur babies
Fur babies,
can be
yes, for
treated.
sure.
I
They have
love that.
anxiety and pain as well. And in some breeds specifically are predisposed to, bad hip joints, arthritis. Certain breeds are just predisposed to certain pains. And when you know that and you find something that is easy for them to consume without any nasty side effects, people are really excited about that option.
Sure. I would be too. I mean, especially for my two fur babies.
Yeah.
I know a lot of pet owners. Our pets are family. They're a big part of the family.
Yes.
For some of us that don't have children, they're a big part of the family because they are our children in a way,
Yes.
right? So I mean, we pour a lot of time and energy into our fur babies. So
Mhm.
I like that. I like the fact that it's safe for them as well. So I mean, obviously it was the situation with your father-in-law and seeing how this stuff can be so highly beneficial for people suffering certain health conditions. Was there anything else specifically that you learned? I mean, you love to
Yeah.
bake and you love to cook, so that was just sort of a natural progression of how you started infusing this stuff. But anything that you learned that you didn't know before?
Just the feedback from my customers. I learn a lot from my customers, and I think the key to success is growing with them, and their input is integral to my future. Um, my products and strengths expand based on their needs and preferences. So that's why my menu grows the way it does, because if a customer says to me, I really like this, but I need A, B, and C. Well, once I research it, I find out, well, it's not just one person.
Right.
Many people fall into that category. And so again, you just roll with it, and you bring in another product which will suit their needs.
Sure. No, I like that. It's all about listening to your market. I
100, that's why I'm here. I'm here because of their needs. And so I think it just makes sense to listen to what they need, what they want, based on, the education that they have, or what they need. Sometimes I talk to people and I just give them education because they've already purchased something somewhere else, but they didn't get the education with it. And so they're reluctant to use it because they don't know what's going to happen, and they're new to it. And so there's many times where I've just given education to people, and they go along their merry way, and I don't necessarily need the sale as long as people are consuming it properly, that it's not going to conflict with anything they're already currently taking, or in the case of THC, where they want to try it but they don't want to get rocked off their rocker.
yeah, yeah,
A lot of time I tell people, start slow and low with
yeah.
both CBD and with THC. You can always take more, but you can't take it away.
Right. No, that's true. Absolutely true. Well, it's
Yeah.
amazing because I can hear the passion in your voice for what you do and the passion for being able to help people. And I love that about you. I love how passionate you are about what you do. And we see it in your clients that come to us. I see how content they are to have the right information and to have the right education in how to use the product. They're using it well. They're getting the results. And man, when people get results on stuff that they've been suffering with for a long time, it's a blessing. It's a big deal.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that's fantastic.
Sometimes some of my biggest skeptics end up being my loudest voices for promoting it when they do see how well it works for them. And I love that. I love guiding people to a gentle solution for what's ailing them. And by all means, it's not a cure, but in the meantime, while you're waiting for surgery or while you're waiting for an answer from the pharmaceutical company or from the medical industry, CBD can help deal with the side effects or the pain of what you're dealing with until you can get the solution you're looking for.
For sure. And isn't that what it's all about? Quality of life.
Quality, absolutely. And CBD isn't habit forming, so it's easy to start and stop whenever you need to. It's not as harsh on the body or addictive as some of the other pharmaceuticals. And again, there is a time and a place for it. I'm just suggesting that we can start a little gentler and again, slow and low, move your way up if you need to.
Yeah, no, I like that. And ultimately, as busy entrepreneurs, healthpreneurs, especially inside of this health and wellness, holistic healing, healthy lifestyle industry, we're constantly trying to get our messages out to the masses. So tell us, Tracy, where can people contact you or find you or find your company or find out more information?
They can visit my website at www.baked-goods.ca. They can email me at info@baked-goods.ca. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook. So the Instagram is T_bakedgoods420 and my Facebook is @bakedprincess.
Oh, I love those. I love those.
You can tell I got in early. I got all the good key phrases there.
All the good ones. No
Yeah.
kidding. All right, my baked princess. In closing today, I just want to thank you so very much for being here on the podcast and helping us to enlighten our audience and our listeners who may have been, hearing about this, may have had tons of questions, may not have known where to turn for the answers. So I've truly enjoyed having you here. I truly enjoyed speaking with you today. Thank you so much for giving back to our listeners.
Thank you.
No, much appreciated. Well, that's all the time we have for today, folks. I'm Frank Peary, and on behalf of Marilyn Mitchell and myself, until next time, remember, health equals wealth.
So that's all the time we have today, but there's still so much more to talk about and learn. Head over to healthexpertscanada.com for more ideas on healthy living, and don't forget to like, download, and share this podcast with your friends, just for the health of it.